Oliver, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Dave, for having us.
Now, Elixinol is a pioneer in the CBD industry. I want to start with an overview of your business.
Look, Dave, we are a global well-being business, and really our purpose is to help people around the world becoming the best version of themselves through the power of hemp. We are a hemp-based product company with CBD digestibles and skincare products, and have a global portfolio of hemp products that we sell all around the world. And importantly to understand is that we are not one of the new kids on the block. We've been in hemp for over 20 years, and so have a huge expertise and know-how built in this sector. So we're truly one of the first movers in that sector and have a great advantage and foothold globally.
Talk to us about some of the products.
We've got a fantastic array of products. Mostly our focus globally is on building an Elixinol nutraceutical CBD brands. And so we have a CBD range under Elixinol with over 30 products worldwide. Not only do we have digestibles in different formats, tinctures, oils, blended capsules, liquid capsules, but we also have a skincare range, the first comprehensive 8-SKU skincare range based on the power of hemp. On top of that, in Australia, and specifically where we have a leadership position, we have a hemp foods business called Hemp Foods Australia, doing fantastic hemp-derived proteins, seeds, spreads, and a number of other food products. And so we really, have a wide gamut and a huge portfolio to offer.
Excellent. I want to talk about the essential value proposition in the context of this really is a classic turnaround. And I want you to talk about what you've done to move this company forward and a little bit on the history of the company.
Look, we have been in hemp for 20 years, but floated or went public in 2018. And I think, as you know, there was a huge gold rush moment where everybody jumped, particularly in the US, in the CBD and the hemp categories, and expected huge consumer demand. But what happened, a lot of customers and producers came in, the market didn't materialize, and the whole industry has been going through a massive phase of consolidation. And so did we. We've had a lot of cost built into our businesses globally to anticipate that growth. The growth didn't materialize. And really, since I've come on with a new management team over the last 9 months, we really focused on taking the cost out of the business, so reducing our cash expenditure, and then single-mindedly focusing on building a global consumer packaged good business under the Elixinol brand. And that means focusing on consumer channels, e-commerce, pharmacy channels, high margin channels, getting rid of low value activities like B2B, bulk and private label product services, taking cost out, and then selectively investing into new innovation and marketing and new product development. And as a result, Dave, what we've seen for the first time in a long time, we've seen 18% growth returning to the business in the September quarter on a much materially reduced cost base, and with lots of new growth catalysts that we are now harnessing throughout the next 12 to 18 months.
Great. I also want to add, if you look at the industry comps and some of your competitors, they're trading anywhere from 3.5 to 5 to 6 times revenue. You're much lower than that. So I'd have our investors consider that as they consider investing in your company. How big is the overall market opportunity for your brand?
The market opportunity is simply enormous. CBD and hemp is one of those high growth markets categories globally. In the US, we are expecting a $6.1 billion market to materialize next year, moving to over $15 billion in 2025. So huge CAGR growth numbers in the US. And even in Europe, we're expecting a $1.6 billion market in 2025. And that is before we even look at the Asian markets, or Latin America, for example. So the growth is high double digit for the foreseeable future, and we are having a prime position in these markets.
Okay, talk to us about your business model. How do you make money?
Well, the business model is anchored in a couple of principles. First of all, it is creating a nutraceutical product range and consumer packaged goods products under the Elixinol brand with a heartland in CBD and the knowledge that we bring to that. So we're really becoming a consumer goods company. Think of it as that. Think of us also as a global company with diversified revenue streams, which is really important to diversify our risk. We are one of the few truly global CBD companies. We have great reach into the US, great reach into Europe, and we're establishing our reach into Asia as well, and a strong footprint in Australia. So that's the second point. It's a global business. That's how we make money. The third point, really importantly, is we are operating on a lean capital light model. We've made the decision that we are going to be focusing on great innovation, great branded products without the cost structure. So we have a very lean model, and that should help us to reach profitability, in the not too distant future. That's the third one. Fourthly, very important, we are an experienced player, and that helps us to create value. We are 20 years in hemp. We've got established distribution relationships all over the world, and that's probably the fourth fundamental, of our model on how we make money. And lastly, what I like to say is, our passion is helping people become the best version of themselves through the power of hemp. And it's a beautiful place to be in this kind of category in this time where COVID stresses, political stresses, and economic stresses come into your life. And we can offer help and solutions in that environment. And so it's another aspect of why we believe that we are a very interesting proposition to the markets.
Who are some of the key players on your team?
Look, we've got a fantastic team, and I'm really proud of it, Dave. We've really been rebuilding the company based on bringing new talent into the business. One of my right-hand person, certainly here in Australia, where I'm sitting in Melbourne at the moment, is our Chief Finance Officer, Ron Duffy. He has been with the company for over 3 years. He knows the company inside out, and has really been my right-hand man on a global level to chaperone that turnaround. But then importantly, we recruited a very top talent in the US with Tom Siciliano, a very experienced Fortune 500 CEO who has been helping on the turnaround in the US very successfully. He's established his entirely new leadership team, where we have established a great new capability, particularly in e-commerce and marketing. We have a new VP of marketing, a VP of web services and e-commerce, also a new leadership team on the supply chain side, both in Europe and in the US. And so you can see that we really are a very, very new team that brings really experience to the table into this very emerging category. Lastly, I'd like to say that we've also got a fantastic new chair on the board, Helen Weisman. She is a former KPMG audit partner, and brings over almost a decade of publicly listed company board director leadership to us. So she joined as a chairman as a chairwoman in September, and she really completes the picture. So what you can see is from the board to the global leadership to the regional leadership, a completely new team to create that Elixinol 2.0 that we are all striving forward to.
Oliver, let's talk about your financial position. You raised $8.2 million recently, mainly through institutional investors. Talk to us about how you would deploy that and how long that cash will last you.
Of course. Look, we are a very cash-conscious company, as a lot of our microcaps partners out there are. And so we're managing cash with an iron fist. And me being German, I take great pride in that. But we raised $8.2 million. We're now going through a share purchase plan where our existing shareholders have an entitlement to purchase up to $30,000 in shares, albeit that's only an offer that exists in Australia and New Zealand. So we're hoping to raise another $2 million. That should give us $10 million. At the end of September, in our publicly published accounts, we had over 12 million in cash already in the bank. So, you add 12 million to that 10 million, and you can see that we're having a very, very strong balance sheet. On top of that, we are debt-free, virtually debt-free, so we have no debt. And so we are fully funded now. And this is for us certainly sufficient now, to strive towards a profitability and a break-even point. We don't have a market outlook, published. We are a publicly listed company in Australia, and so we don't want to give any guidance, but rest assured that that cash, we firmly believe, should be our last capital raise to finance operating cash flows, and should be sufficient to get us to that break-even point that we so necessarily need.
Well, that should give investors a lot of comfort. In closing today, let's talk about the milestones investors can expect over the next 12 to 18 months.
Thanks. Great question, because we're really excited about 2021. First of all, I think we're all looking forward to a milestone, which is the post-COVID world milestone. So we are expecting, I think our environment to become a bit easier to do business in, but that's not necessarily in our control. For us, what we are really excited about is our new CBD skincare range that we launched in the UK and Ireland with one of the biggest pharmacy chains there. So we're in distribution with 8 products now there. And we're going to be rolling that out further. So we're going to move from digestible CBD products to skincare products, and that's going to be a huge milestone for the company that we're pushing through our businesses. The second milestone from us is really now the investments that we made in our e-commerce space, a new platform with Magento, which is a new e-commerce platform, and a new team to really create every second dollar of revenue that comes in coming from e-commerce at a very high margin. And so we really geared up, invested into that this year, but next year the big milestone is that I'm striving for, with the management team, half of our revenue coming from this really high margin channel where we control the consumer dialogue. Thirdly, very excitingly, the European expansion. We are well on the way to get our novel foods application and accreditation status. That will legitimize our business, particularly in the UK, where we have a stronghold past March 2021 when new regulations comes in place. And that will give us access to more distribution because the market is regulated and we have the right permits to operate in that space. So a big other milestones. And then, as you said, we are shooting for the big milestone of becoming margin positive, and break even. Now, when that happens, I don't want to put my head on it just yet, but that's for us a milestone that is firmly, in our crosshairs as well.
Excellent. Well said. It's a fantastic story, and congratulations on this growth.
Fantastic, Dave. Look, it's a pleasure to be here with you and telling the story. And we're incredibly proud of the work that we've done, the results that we're achieving. And so to everybody out there who's listening, I can just say, when you invest in Elixinol, it's a new Elixinol 2.0. We're back in growth. We are a leader in the industry. We are fully funded, great new products, good distribution, and it's an exciting future for us. Thank you, Dave.